Doc, are you here?
Yeah.
Alright, good. Back in action.
Wonderful.
So, we wait for House Trent to show up? Trent?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Trent, that's the word.
send out the
Someone to show up, sure.
send out the word to the castle workers to clean up a little bit, start preparing.
Make guest rooms ready.
Make guest rooms ready.
Make the rooms
How
ready.
you generally treat guests compared to your own living standard. Better, worse, or kind of the same? Or...
The same. I mean, it depends on the
Probably-
guest, really.
Probably the same, but ever so slightly better. Like, we're not just
guest
sat
rooms are
around.
better than your own.
We're not just sat around, like...
I would definitely disagree, unless it's Leo Longthorn Tyrell or the fucking king himself.
Yeah, yeah. If it's one of those, then it's like, holy shit, just give them everything, just all the good shit.
They would generally also travel with their own, like, big tents and shit.
Yeah, they'd just set up their
Yes.
command pavilion in our...
But you should never have anyone be better than you in your own home. That's a
Yeah,
terrible,
alright, so
that's
it's...
a terrible precedent.
They have alright rooms, but not quite as good as ours then.
I mean, we honor our guests and we are generous towards them, but you're a guest.
Yeah.
You're not the lord of the house.
But it is all obvious that you are definitely a guest. Like, you're not shunned to the corner of...
They don't sleep in the
Yes,
barracks.
No, exactly.
No, they don't.
No.
Maybe if Peak shows up, he sleeps in the barracks, but
Yes,
But
sleep with all of our soldiers.
Yes.
But Gormy might convince them to join him. He has a good soldiery reputation.
Fucking Gormy.
You know I
Alaric.
have 3 castles.
Alaric, kill Gormy. As soon as he steps in here, you
I
swing.
just need a clear shot.
We may all die, but it's worth it.
It's totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
What if he's using like the firstborn heir and it's like a hostage still? Strike me down and you'll be a kinslayer.
Excellent.
Excellent, yes. I'll be sent to the wall and
So
no
it's all
one
our
will get
problems.
past
A
me.
kinslayer, you say?
Well, all right then. We shall let you continue. A few days go by, that is usual. Usually it takes a day or so for a letter to actually arrive, a day more for them to figure out what they want to answer, and then a day for it to actually come back. And that is if you have master ravens. You don't, meaning that the bird generally flies back to wherever it came from, and you will have to wait for them to then relay the message to whoever you wanted them to relay it to. Generally for a small, sort of nominal fee from maester to maester. Nothing that you really need to concern yourself too much with, though.
Maester Call has like a slush fund that he uses for things like that.
Yeah.
Is he
It's
paid?
something that takes your wealth points, basically.
Is he paid in a way, or does he use like...
The maester has food, and he has shelter. He does not really receive monetary things beyond that. He simply doesn't need it. The Citadel does demand a certain amount of money from you, basically represented by the wealth points that the maester takes up. He's already paid for, so to speak, in food and whatever research materials he might need, which you pay for him.
Okay, that makes sense.
He has to be acted upon with respect, and generally you help the Citadel with some payment, which they then use for books and that sort of thing. That's sort of scholarly nonsense, but he's good to have, so most people put up with it.
Dessem looks over to Laenys and says, "Now, nephew, with so many important guests coming in the upcoming days, I hope you are comfortable with receiving them with all due honors and propriety."
Gives us just a half sigh for a second, looking at you. They will be met as any lord should be expected to be met, even bastard lords.
Good. Trent is difficult to handle as far as I recall, but if we can ingratiate ourselves somewhat to his bastards, there is no reason why we shouldn't.
We do not require more enemies.
No, we don't. I shall of course be with you when they are when we receive them, but it falls to you, my dear nephew, to say the proper words and such. I am sure you are up to the task. You have trained well for this. He sort of pats him on the shoulder a bit awkwardly.
Move slightly as you pat him. Well, you certainly have quite the tongue for teaching people these techniques.
I can certainly speak well when it is required. The question is if what I say actually penetrates some of the thick skulls out there.
Laenys thinks of someone in his head. Match up too.
Well,
anyway, if guests will be showing up, I think I will do some stewardship now instead of when they arrive. Give them all the time they might want, of course.
He nods. That is a good idea. Yes. He looks over to Raven. Kvaller, come. We shall walk the halls. To which the Raven caws imperiously and flies out the door. As he taps away.
Laenys will go out. We'll go to the study and start going through the paperwork.
Fucking cat. That's a pissed cat.
Fucking cat. I'm gonna kill it.
Days go by as they do when you're doing whatever it is that you do, painting, hunting cats,
Oh yes, painting.
doing ledgers.
I call this
stewardship
one
work,
the loss
or looking
of
after
the
an
brother.
old lord of the house who has a lot of headaches. That is what he does in every day. He suffers. In a way. But one day you see indeed the banner, a blue banner with a hanged man, approach the gate of the castle, and it is called to you that lords or sirs, or not even that, but Trents are at the gate, wishing to come in. They have been allowed into the sort of courtyard, where they are sort of having their horses removed from them and taken care of by the stable boys.
We should go out and meet them in honor.
Whatever. Wait. That's the door.
That's a painting.
That's
a
a
painting?
Dessem painting.
Oh god.
the knight tries to walk through the painting.
Dessem is like,
I can't see.
third time this month. Ah, yes.
You know,
Yes,
I
Danny.
see a girl in that picture, and there's a shadow behind her.
I call this one the death of my brother.
But it's a girl.
That's the mystique.
Down here.
Yeah, they are the two older ones, Edric and Edgar, stand together. The younger one holding the banner, or a long spear with a flapping piece of Trent cloth on it. He also has like a mandolin over his shoulder, and looks a lot more scrawny than the two others, wearing leather instead of their mail. Generally, it seems to be just the three of them, no guards, and they seem to have been traveling light.
What kind of time of day is it?
It is about sort of late midday.
Oh, okay. Alaric will probably still be in armor from training, as he does.
Will Dessem come out? Oh god, no.
Dessem, are you coming?
Yes, will Dessem be coming out or not?
Yes, he would be coming out for this.
Stop decorating.
Well, I need a place to paint. This is...
Damn it,
God
Jonas!
damn it, Jonas! Wrong time.
This is why Manaki
It,
didn't reveal the map.
It is remarkable, as you look upon them from distance even, how much these two look alike and how much they do not look alike with Oswald. Perhaps they have a different mother.
Wow, Bree's gonna go? Interesting.
Oh, is Bree gonna?
Yes.
Yeah, alright.
It is expected when you have noble guests for all sort of able members of the noble house to line up to say hello.
Bree knows that.
Oh
She has
god,
hands.
you're good at
Do
lining
you
up.
do you serve bread and salt at the gate, or do you generally wait and just offer it, or how do you do that?
We will give it in the Great Hall to honor our guests.
Right, well, then Lucas will quickly begin to assemble a slight meal.
No.
Cool. As they walk forward, Edgar is in front, Edric following, and Oswald sort of a little bit behind, not really able to keep up with their long strides. They are, the two of them, Edgar and Edric, are fairly tall, fairly muscularly built, with broad sort of foreheads and in-sunken eyes that seem to regard everything with a bit of pessimism. Oswald generally seems to be a little bit winded, and certainly is smaller. He has the mandolin, perhaps giving him the idea that he is more of a musical spirit, and he looks slightly befuddled at most things. As they move up, the two older brothers in sort of a ring mail, riding not too heavy, not so heavy to be uncomfortable, but certainly very functional. Oswald wearing just some padded and leather armor. Seemingly not really wearing a weapon, while the two others have long swords by their sides. No shields.
Everin should be here as well.
I'll look for them in the shadows, I suppose.
As they walk up towards you, clearly looking for a lord of the house or some such. Kind of looking for whoever he's supposed to talk to. As he walks up towards you.
If Laenys doesn't move, Dessem will like subtly poke him a little bit with his cane.
Laenys will take a few steps forward, greeting out a smile as he walks up towards them.
Go over and being flanked by his brothers or half brothers. I will reach out his gloved hand, looking slightly down at Laenys.
Laenys will let out a hand as well.
His lordship was not available today, I see.
I am afraid not. He is feeling very slightly under the weather.
Not to see. Well, that is what we have heard and been warned about. I'm Edgar Trent. He says, this is my brother Edric and my other brother Oswald. Our coming was forewarned, yes?
Yes.
Good. I think we shall have a slight meal. The travel has been weary, and there was some noise in the woods, although nothing seemed to happen. I hope your countryside is... He looks sort of saying... not saying too much. Just looks at Laenys.
I'm glad you had safe travel. Please, come inside and let us welcome you fully.
He nods, begins walking up the stairs to the hall. The two others following him, silent. As they sort of nod to the rest of you.
Bree will not. She has nothing to say.
And of course, may I introduce you to the various members you see before you.
It kind of takes a double look at Alaric.
Alaric will kind of like nod politely towards them.
He's probably used to it.
Yeah, he's used to the double look.
I am the Lord's current son residing here, Laenys Caladan. Gestures to Alaric.
Didn't you have a brother, an older brother? He was perhaps unavailable too?
The older brother is currently not residing here at the keep.
I see. Out night, perhaps?
Yes.
He sort of looks at you, nods slowly.
This here is Sir Alaric Caladan.
My pleasure. Reaching out a hand.
Alaric will smile and say, "The pleasure is mine." Puts out a giant hand to shake.
Gives you a firm handshake. Yet not doing the thing where he tries to crush it. He's
Yeah.
not that
Alaric
childish.
Alaric avoids crushing his hand.
Gestures over. Over there, the figure is Dessem Caladan, my
Over
uncle.
there, in the corner, with the looming shadows.
Give her a nod and say, my lord, we've heard about you. My father is a great, he enjoys your work.
Dessem bows and says, I am happy to have Lord Trent as an admirer of my work. I hope your father is well.
That's as always.
We mind a bit of hesitation before speaking. Aside Sir Alaric, is my younger sister Briyenn.
Who is clad in her noble outfit, which is appropriate for a individual of her stature, instead of inappropriate.
Small sort of moves outside of his, at the word of old younger sister. He sort of moves over to take a look. Over
You
the
go for
shoulder
it, buddy. Good luck.
of Edric. Looking at him, then grimacing slightly, then removing that expression from his face.
Bree will offer a favorable smile, which is well trained.
Edric looks slightly sourly around, having not really said anything before this time, saying, "So perhaps we should take the rest of this conversation inside. It's freezing out here. It isn't that cold, but maybe writing has made it so."
Alaric nods and kind of waits for Laenys to
Yes.
He's having
Go for the door.
walking alongside our guests.
Yes.
Okay.
As the procession moves forward, Bree will actually move up next to her uncle and whisper,
Can I take this off now? They don't need me anymore, do they?
And Dessem looks down at Brienne and says, I am afraid, Denise, you still need to attend the dinner for an hour at least. I am sure you can escape out at the earliest convenience.
Bree gives a petulant look, but also a resigned look of damn. She'll slump her shoulders.
If Bree looks towards Nima, she'll give her a look of basically, be strong.
Dessem looks at her. Chin up, niece. It is what we have to do.
Strong as a bear, Nima.
If allowed, Edgar will certainly walk fast enough to almost take sort of heading of the procession,
Oh,
going inside.
such presumption.
Alaric will
Followed
keep
by
pace.
Edric, who seems to actually sort of walk very close to Laenys, and Oswald, who again walks behind the other two.
Alaric will keep pace with Edgar.
He takes fairly long strides, sort of not seemingly a man who hurries a lot, simply just having a naturally fast walking speed. Not really. He seems to walk with in a very determined way, sort of not really looking around much. Probably not very aware of his surroundings, as long as he gets where he wants to go. Edric, however, very differently, following his brother. Other than that, not really seem to worry about where to go, simply keeping an eye out pretty much constantly. While Oswald is looking at everything and everyone, checking in whatever he can, seemingly. Perhaps he hasn't traveled as much as the others.
Well, I assume we make our way into the Great Hall.
Where Lucas has set up a table of one of the not the high table really, just one of the normal tables where everyone can sit around. With some bread, some cheese, different things, wine.
Manaki, I admittedly just sort of like inserting this in here because I don't say personally know that much about the house, but perhaps I know that spending a destiny point could say like either activate an environmental quality or improve someone's disposition. Perhaps there's some sort of maybe not connection that House Caladan has, but maybe something that their father might look upon favorably. Like, Bree might insist that maybe, like, one of her uncle's art pieces is moved in, perhaps without her uncle even realizing it, into, like, the Great Hall, or something that she thinks, based on her knowledge, that would be worth spending a destiny point to make a possible conversation in the Great Hall more favorable? Is that feasible, Manaki?
A piece of art being here? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It is probably one of the less
Yes.
grotesque pieces, but
Yes.
there certainly could be one of the paintings here, and the table that has been picked, perhaps by the insistence of Bree, is one that has a prominent spot where this art is visible, and
It
as
is.
they sit down, Edgar certainly seems to notice it, perhaps more than the others, as he looks upon it. What does this painting look like?
It is
That is
it is one of Dessem's earlier works where his style hadn't gotten so dark and sinister yet. It is from his time in Highgarden. It seems to be a painting of the castle and the castle town made from a hill on a beautiful early summer day, like you have. You have cloud sunshine, the green verdant fields around Highgarden, all the flowers. It's actually quite beautiful, and his normal like sinister air is not easily spotted in this one.
Well, we'll look upon it. His expression showing little, but Bree will certainly see that he seemingly, his father is not necessarily the only person who appreciates these pieces of art, and he looks upon Dessem, sort of nodding slowly. As she leans back and takes a cup of wine, seemingly relaxing from his otherwise sort of strict and very authoritative way of behaving. She sits down, looking around, taking in of the bread and cheese, and feeling better about the whole thing. Taking a look at the pieces that are hanging around here, rather so than just looking at the dull stone and such around the place. Nodding slowly to himself.
Well,
Impressive work, I'll say. My father would appreciate to visit here, perhaps someday. Should our families be bound by marriage.
your great lord father is of course always welcome at House Caladan. Dessem nods slowly, and thank you. It is one of my early works, and he sort of launches in a short but perhaps well rehearsed talk about the piece and like what he thought when he painted it and something like that. He keeps it fairly short because he knows that exactly how you paint a painting is probably not the most interesting for most people to listen to.
He will actually seemingly be slightly entertained by this. He will even like ask into it and ask whether seemingly enjoying this topic of conversation. Edric seems to be still sort of in a slightly soured mood, just looking around at everyone, keeping an eye out, while Oswald is still looking at Bree, clearly in his own thoughts, sort of zoning out a little bit, his eyes fixed at her.
Bree is going to remember politeness. Politeness.
Alaric will send a servant to get Everin. Maybe he'll enjoy talking to Oswald or Edric while Dessem entertains Edgar.
He'll certainly come to you. What will the servant tell him? What will Lucas tell him?
That his father wishes him to join us at the table with the Trent boys.
Sure. he will come down and go to sit by Oswald, looking at the boy himself, really trying to measure him up.
Alaric will introduce Everin. Not too imposing on Dessem's conversation with Edgar.
No, it seems they are sort of locked into like a proper discussion now.
Yeah,
Somewhat oblivious to the rest.
he just says like over the conversation, like.
Edgar certainly seems to even bring the topic to things such as art in the free cities. That he will mention that he has visited, and he seems to be very appreciative of such things, and that he shares his father's appreciation for the alternative ways of thinking. And,
Yes, Dessem will say that the Free Cities art is certainly different. It is not as bound by the traditional stylistic choices of Westeros, etc. And that he wishes to perhaps someday visit back there again. He hasn't been for many, many years. Keeps going down that as he absentmindedly, like he very very animated discusses, like he shows how he like moving hands and how he uses brushes and stuff, as he also from time to time like absent-mindedly like pets the Kvalar on the head.
Edgar will go so far as to suggest that perhaps one day his lordship might request a portrait of Blackbrush himself.
Oh
my.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Edric is staring sourly at Laenys, clearly not having as good a time with the art conversation.
And we'll give a polite smile, and we'll try and start up some conversation with him, asking possibly about the trip and ensuring it's favourable.
He will answer in short sentences, generally, saying that he expected it to be no problem. He's gone much further distances than this, of course. Laenys would know about him. Yeah, something seems to make him kind of sour, or maybe he is really a dreck to talk to right now, and he is not being polite at all.
Could I try, possibly an awareness test, try and an empathy test to try and work out kind of what's going through his head right now?
Sure, you could do an empathy. Not sure what specialty that would be. Let's see here.
Awareness test.
Awareness empathy.
Yeah, awareness empathy.
I knew what it was.
That has to be his passive deception.
Yeah. It seems that he seems to really just focus on you. Maybe he just doesn't like you very much, or perhaps what you represent in some way.
I mean, if the conversation seems to kind of not flow between the two, Alaric would try and...
Sounds like Laenys is trying, but he's kind of gets shut down. It's probably maybe even beginning to get a little embarrassing.
Possibly I'll shift the conversation over to Oswald, asking about the mandolin.
He will say that he plays, and that he met he actually gets a little enthusiastic about the mandolin, that he gets sort of looking around and say that he's heard that those who play the mandolin often can sort of look slightly at Briyenn and just says that they are very cultured. Perhaps not his first choice of phrase.
Bree blinks at Oswald.
He smiles politely, though a little shy.
Bree is...
Yes, perhaps. He is maybe 16, 15. So same age as Everin, though seemingly much less mature.